Hey guys, welcome back to Tremor Trails. It is cold. I am ready for summer to be here. At the time of filming this, we probably got about 4 more weeks left of winter before it starts to warm up. But we're getting the truck loaded up today because we're about to head out on some more trails out in the desert where it's a lot more warm. I've had several of you guys comment through different videos about what kind of rooftop tent we run. I didn't know you guys would be interested in something like that, so thank you for commenting. And if you ever have any questions or things that you want to know more about that maybe I don't film, please let me know and I'll know what to film for you guys. I'll film anything we got. As far as rooftop tents go, they're not built all the same. It really comes down to your manufacturer and how much time and effort they actually put into the R&D and putting the thing together. The rooftop tent we run is the 23 Zero Armadillo X. We got this for the 2022 season. We'll probably use it in the 2023 season unless something awesome just comes along that I gotta have on the truck. This thing is super easy to pop up, as most rooftop tents are. So let me pop it open for you, show you how easy that is, and then we'll look at the tent itself. So there you have it, pretty easy to get set up. Took me like a minute, as you saw. Not a big deal at all. Now, as you can see, this is where the X bracing is, so you get an additional foot of lift with this X brace as the clamshell opens up and then is able to fold back down into a tight fit. You obviously have windows everywhere. I'm not going to open up the windows, you guys get them, but they do attach these little spots just like most tents right here. That'll focus. And these come out completely. Speaking of putting up and taking down, some other manufacturers require a key to unlock your tent just to get it to pop up and pop down. One thing I appreciate about the 23 Zero design is that, yes, all of these have locks around them, but you don't have to have a key to unlock it to be able to open up your tent. I know some people have complained about that with the iCamper stuff, and it's a little taxing that you got to go find your key, unlock everything, and then open up your tent. So you can either lock these or not lock these, but it doesn't hamper the way of strapping down everything. The 23 Zero have been around for quite a while. They're actually a pretty reputable company, and I probably consider them more on the high end of rooftop tents. I know that's probably biased though. Really, all the prices now have really kind of leveled out. But when 23 Zero started, their prices were a little bit more, but still comparable and still the same price point as like an iCamper and things along that line. With 23 Zero, what I appreciated is that you have lights on the tent and you have all of your different shoe holders and stuff like that that comes with the kit. Unlike some companies that try and upsell you on those things, everything came with the tent. So what we have is we have lighting across the front right here for when you're out camping, and then you have lighting inside that we'll dive into here in a minute. I'll show you the inside. We've probably camped a total of, I don't think we're at 30 nights in the tent, but I know that we're over 20. We haven't had one problem with the tent. Every zipper has worked just fine. Every flap has worked just fine. There hasn't been a rip, a tear, nothing yet, and hopefully it stays that way. You can tell that the craftsmanship with these tents are really well thought out. I started searching for tents about 1.5 years ago, going through different YouTube videos and trying to figure out what I liked and what I didn't like. And really, for this tent, I wanted something that was small, lightweight, but still roomy enough where we could get in there and sleep comfortable. But even for a 2-man tent, me and my wife sleep very comfortable in there, and we're not up on each other, we're not kneeing each other. There's enough room in there. The size of it is a little bit wider than a full-size bed. Ample room in here. You have your other light bar up against that headrest if that's the way you sleep, or if you put your feet there. We actually sleep that direction. This right here, however, does not come with the tent. This is actually where I put my iPad when I'm watching movies at night. Now, as you can see, I have tons of headspace up here to get in and be comfortable. I wish I had a wider lens on my camera. I apologize, I don't. But as you can see, you can sit up, you can put on your clothes, take off your clothes, whatever in here. So there's plenty of headroom. I'm a pretty average guy, a little bit on the short side. I'm 5'10", but you know, I don't have a problem getting in here. If you're a 6-foot guy though, you're going to want to go with a bigger type tent, more of one of those main clamshells that are made for you taller, longer guys. With this tent, we've pretty much kind of put it through its paces. We've stayed in below 30-degree weather, and I actually sweated halfway through the night and had to barely open up one of the windows because it did get so hot in there, which was very surprising. Of course, we had a bunch of sheets and everything in there as well, but it really does keep body heat all together. On the opposite side of that, when it's warm outside and you have all the vents open, it's a pretty cool tent as well. So as you can see, you have this other window down here because of the way that the Armadillo X opens, which I appreciate. I sleep that direction, so that's where I keep my head. But if you want to sleep the other direction, if I can get it in focus, I can't make any promises. I don't know if you can see that because it's a little bit dark, but you do have a skylight as well. My most favorite thing about this tent, though, is the fabric that they use. Essentially, no sunlight penetrates this tent. So you're not going to get woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning with the sun beating down in your face. Everybody knows what that's like, and it sucks. There's actually been a time where I slept till 11 o'clock out on a trail because I was so tired and didn't even realize it. Inside this tent, it is pitch black in the middle of the day if you have all the windows closed. I mean, pitch black. And that's pretty cool. In other words, sunlight is not going to get through and wake you up in the morning. You're going to be in a dark environment and you're going to be able to sleep restfully. Customer service with 23Zero has been awesome. I've never had an issue, but when I was researching tents, all it was I called them on the phone, talked to them, and then of course out at the expos, those guys are always out there showing off their newest products, and you can go talk to them in person as well. Really great group of guys over there. Now let's get to the honest review of the downsides to this tent. It's going to be the same as every other tent I've ever slept in the world. I don't know why manufacturers have not caught up with this yet, but let's talk about sleeping. The whole reason you want a high quality, expensive rooftop tent or any kind of tent is to be able to sleep well through the night so that you can get back up on trails and enjoy yourself. The mattress on this thing is junk. If you are a side sleeper, plan to go buy yourself a blow-up mattress or something to be able to sleep at night. I wish manufacturers, they spend so much time making these beautiful pop-up tents, and then they get to the final element, the most important thing about a tent, sleeping, and they completely blow it. Listen, tent manufacturers, we don't care if there's an additional 2 inches above our truck. We want to be able to sleep at night comfortably. Almost every person I know that camps with a rooftop tent gets rid of that mattress, whatever mattress they have, and goes and orders a bigger, better mattress, which then becomes a pain because you're having to blow it up constantly and shove it into the tent to get it moving. So that is my one downside to this tent, as with most any other rooftop tent I've ever slept in. If you guys know of a high quality rooftop tent that has an incredible mattress on it, please comment down below because we're looking for it. We love everything about 23Zero and many of the other manufacturers out there, except that you cannot get a good night's rest if you're using just the standard mattress. The mattress itself is, I don't know, 2.5 inches, but you can squeeze it with your hand, which really makes it about 1/4 inch of fabric. So you're going to have to put tons and tons of bedding on it, or you're going to have to do the blow-up mattress like I just said. We actually run with a Camp King Luxury Deluxe. There's 3 different models. I don't know if I said that the right way. And so far, I've actually enjoyed that. But it's still a pickle. You got to get to campsite, you got to pull it out, you got to air it up, and then when you wake up in the morning, you got to air it back down. And that takes precious time. You're talking 15, 20 minutes sometimes to get all the air out of that dumb thing to get it packed back up and going. The only other complaint about this tent really kind of goes with that whole same theme. There's just not enough room. They claim that there's enough room to put your bedding in there, but I think by bedding they mean sheets. I can sometimes get 2 pillows in there and get on top of it and really smush it down, but it's still going to be slightly cockeyed and it's going to be hard to tighten down. So yes, you can put some sheets in here if you want, but getting pillows or any kind of heavy bedding into it is just a no-go with this particular tent. But don't let that deter you from 23Zero or the Armadillo X. Other than those things, I'm extremely happy with this tent. It has held up in strong winds. It's held up in cold climates. It's held up in warm climates. It's a really great tent, except for the space that we're always all looking for. You know, if we could get an additional 4 inches of just dead air inside tents, we'd be able to keep our pillows in there and everything else. I know some manufacturers are starting to come up with those things, and I know 23Zero is probably working on that as well. But with this particular tent, you can kind of get some bedding in there, and you can kind of sometimes get pillows in there if they just happen to line up the right way. But I'm not going to tell you that this is one of those tents that you can just put everything in there, close it, and be off to the races. That's just not the scenario. Those are my only two negative cons about this tent, and it really goes for a lot of rooftop tents, so it's not necessarily a knock on 23-0. I just wish the manufacturers would say, screw it, we don't care about gas mileage, we're already getting terrible gas mileage with our modifications. Give us an additional 2 to 4 inches of space in there so that we can keep our pillows and all our bedding, so that when we're out on trails, we don't have to be ripping through the truck or ripping through the vehicle, setting things up, taking things out. We can essentially just lift the puppy up, go to bed, close it, get back up on the trail. The one thing I didn't hit on with the Armadillo X is the roof. So the roof is going to be a hard polymer type plastic that also has car lining inside of it. So that actually helps with the sun and the heat as well. It's really kind of a thermal type barrier instead of just exposed plastic. You guys go check out 23-0 though if you're interested. They have several different models to choose from, and the guys over there really are great to talk to. I'm not affiliated with them at all, but I love their products and they've always treated me right, so I'm sure they'll treat you guys right as well. Hit me up down below if you have any questions or comments. I'll do my best to answer them for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it gave you a little bit of insight into the 23-0 Armadillo X. And now it's time to get out of this chilly weather and get on some fun trails. So until next time, we hope to see you guys out there on the trails. Bye.